Today I want to show you how to score 800 on your SAT math section. I'm going to show the tools and the methods that yields the best results. I'm going to go to Blue Book and select test. Here we have a practice test 4. I've already skipped English part. We go straight into math. Starting with the first problem. First one is pretty simple. You just have to add 7 and 20, and that is 27. Next one. For the next one, I don't want to use a regular calculator. I'm going to use Desmos because I don't want to guess, but I'll use calculator function that calculates mean. That's available in Desmos. If you click on functions, then under statistics, I'm going to find that in a second, you'll see mean. And this is what we want to calculate. And it's pretty simple to calculate it using Desmos. There you go. You just have to enter the values that you have here. And it would be easy to compare and pretty fast because the only difference between these two sets is one number. So once you have the first value, it's 9, the mean of data set X. The second value, you just have to add the number 27, and this is how you're going to get the second mean, which is obviously greater. All right, next problem. Similar triangles. If the triangles are similar, then their corresponding angles are equal. So if the measure of Q angle is 18, then the measure of the other acute angle is 90 minus 18, and that's the angle that corresponds to angle C. Therefore, the answer is 72. All right, so here we have a difference of masses for the rocket. And then we have to calculate how much it burns every second. So first we find the difference, and then we just divide by 21. It's pretty straightforward. The first part is usually relatively simple. Next one, system of equations. Normally, I always use Desmos to solve this one. I don't want to risk making any calculation mistakes, and it's definitely a faster solution. So I just entered these two into Desmos, and in order to find the solution, I just need to look for the point of intersection. And there you go, that's 5, 8. And here I read the question again, and I have to add those. So that's 13. So the next question, we have a certain apprentice has enrolled in 85 hours of training courses. The equation represents the situation where X is the number of on-site training courses and Y is the number of online training courses. Okay, the question is how many more hours does each online training course take? Well, that's easy. That's 15 minus 10. All right, next one. The square X has a side length of 12 and the perimeter of square Y is twice. I thought I can find a highlighter here, but apparently it's not present for the math part, which is a bit upsetting. Okay, so the perimeter of square Y is 2 times the perimeter of square X. So for this, I'll do a little sketch just to see what's going on. And then we have to find the length in centimeters of this side of the square. Well, the perimeter of one square is 2 times the perimeter of the other square. It means that the linear ratio is 1 to 2. Therefore, the sides ratio would be also 1 to 2. So if the smaller side is 12, then the bigger side must be twice as much. So it's 24. All right, next problem. Okay, what I notice here first is I see linear function. So it's either going to be slope, y-intercept, and based on the question, it is the slope that I need to find. Obviously, it's 0.05. All right, for this one, I just have to divide by 4 in order to get x minus 1, since I only need the positive value. All right, next one. I look at the equation, I see the answers. So it's obvious that I have to solve it for x. I have to make x a subject here. So I don't really need to read the information here. All right, so this is what I'm going to do in my notes. I'm going to multiply by y, both sides, and then I'll have to divide by 11. It's pretty simple here. So the answer should be C. All right, next question. I see the table of values, and I see that there is a linear function that I have to work with, and I have to find slope. So it's immediately a rise over run formula, the difference in y values over the difference in x values, and that's 11. All right, I have to simplify, and I have to find coefficient for the x cubed. So I'm only going to focus on that, and that's 5 plus 4, which is 9. Next one, we have system of inequalities. Again, the system I pretty much never solve, and I don't solve it manually. I always use Desmos for that. So first I'm going to enter this inequalities, and I have to look at the overlapping region. Then the point is given, the y value is given, so I have to enter any of the x values that is offered here. So I'm entering the negative 9, 53. And then I see that this point is in the overlapping region. The question was which of the following could be the value of x, so the first one was correct. All right, next one, we have bacteria growth, and it doubles every 3 hours. Okay, so we can easily figure out the formula. It's 300,000 times 2 to the power of t over 3, because it must double. So that means that when t is equal to 15, the exponent for 2 would be 5. So basically, I have to multiply 300 by 32, which will give me 9,600,000. Next question. We have exponential function, which is decreasing, and y represents the number of catalogs, x represents the number of years. So the y-intercept is the value of y when x is equal to 0. When x is equal to 0, we're talking about the end of 1992. And at that year, the value of y is 9. So there should be 9,000 catalogs at the end of 1992. There is only one value corresponds to that, which is D. Okay. Well, this is just power properties. The seventh root would be 1 over 7, so the answer is 9 over 7. For this one, I'll have to write down some numbers. I'll start off with the unknown value in 2015. That would be x. And then the value increases by 7%. So now it's 107%. And that we can write as 1.07x. And then I'll write the equation that corresponds with the question. So the value of k would be 1.07. All right, system of linear equations, no solution. Well, for the no solutions, the line must be parallel, and that means that the slopes are equal. Answer C. The first term of the sequence is 9. Each term after that is 4 times the preceding term. All right, so it means if I plug in 1 for n, I supposed to have 9. That only works for D. It gives 36 for C. It gives 4 for B. So yeah. Number 20, the minimum value of x. So if it's a minimum value, x must be greater or equal to whatever we see after that. Then 6 times n, so it's 6n, and 12 less means minus 12. So therefore it's B. Okay, two similar, no, this is the right triangle. So for the right triangle, let's have a sketch because we want to know where do we have a right angle and where is the hypotenuse. Right angle should be opposite the hypotenuse, the longest side. So that means that S is the right angle. After that, we write corresponding vertices for the second triangle. So S corresponds to V, T corresponds to W, and then we need to find the tangent of W angle. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so we get 20 over 48. We'll look at the answers. None of them matches what we have, so we also have to simplify this fraction. We can divide by 4, and that gives us 5 over 12. And that would be the right answer here. All right, next question. The graph translated 4 units down. What is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept? Well, first we have to write it in the slope-intercept form in order to do this transformation. First, we do that, and we get y equals 0.9x minus 1.9. If we shift it down, we have to subtract 4 from the entire function. So that way we're getting the following equation: 0.9x minus 5.9. And then we can look for the x-intercept. Okay, I see it's 6.556. Well, we can actually enter this value, but I'm not a fan of this, and I don't want to risk entering the wrong value. So I would just plug in 0 for y and then write the corresponding value. Okay, first I entered 19 over 9 looking from my notes, and I see it's not 6 point something, so I know I made a mistake. Then again, I look at my notes. I realized that I didn't add 4. I didn't subtract 4. So now I'm doing that, and this is the value that I'm supposed to get. I'm writing this improper fraction, and then I'm done. And for part 1.